Good day, Ms. Benson. I will be explaining my learner profile. Who are my learners? My learners are life orientation grade 11 learners. The classroom consists of 14 girls and 16 boys who are between the age of 16 and 18. Their school is in the village of Kutsong Ventersdorp. They are village pupils, bear in mind. They are second language speakers of English. They are both very proficient in their home language and English. They are interested in nature, farming, and watching TV. Their favorite TV shows or soapies are Uzalo, The River, and The Queen. Their favorite book is Animal Farm. How familiar are they with technology? They are very familiar with cell phones as they are using social media, or they are exposed to social media, and they often use their cell phones for assignments and further research as they do not have enough material in the school. What are their particular strengths and weaknesses? Their strengths are interpersonal communication skills and reading. Their weaknesses are they wait for last minute to complete the work, which means they are procrastinating. What prior knowledge do they bring to the classroom? They already bring prior knowledge of different careers that they already know of. The material they use are chalkboards, whiteboards, textbooks, and charts. Charts include A3 pictures to portray the content. The school has resources, and most of the learners come from homes that the parents are unemployed and depend on feeding schemes and child grant. What different cultures and represented in this classroom? Some believe in different traditions, laws, and norms. The school has diverse cultures. The following will be my wide segment, the analyzing of the KEBS document. Under subject, we have topics that indicate if the focus of learners will be on the subtopic. What do they already know, which is the previous information? And how does this topic fit in with the bigger picture? What comes before and after in the KEBS? How does it relate to similar topics in previous years that follow? And the number of lessons will be 4. And there will be suggested resources such as posters, chalkboard, magazines, and textbooks. Their topics are career and career choices. They already know about the world of work that they have learned from primary school, in life skills, and career choices that have done from grade 8 to 10. The learners know of different careers they would want to pursue. This topic of options for financial assistance for further studies fit in the bigger picture to assist them in finding relevant assistance to the career of interest that they would love to pursue, meaning that they wouldn't have to just pursue the career because they love it, but then they will have to make sure that the career fit in with the bigger picture in terms of financial assistance and financial intelligence in that matter, because they have to sustain themselves, they have to live a better life and maintain their livelihood. And then the pertinent question have to make learners curious, link with their profile background, show the importance of the lesson, transport learners out of the classroom, meaning they have to be realistic and relate to what they normally face or they come across in a daily basis. This is the list of the pertinent questions and possible answers for each, at least 2 questions. How is this lesson relevant and applicable to real life situations? The answer is getting students equipped for their future careers that they want to pursue. Therefore, this will assist learners who will want to chase their dream careers and who want to further their studies to receive relevant assistance and information regarding funding that will help them reach career paths. How will this lesson impact on learners? This will improve self-knowledge of the self, as learners will be required to be equipped with prior knowledge in connection of the previous topic. This will make connections with the previous topic and result in learners knowing different options of financial assistance. How will this lesson be beneficial to learners? Learners will then be gaining knowledge that will be helpful towards their financial assistance. And then for the learners, as it will also educate them to share the knowledge gained and transmit it to the community and society. It will also motivate students to work very hard on their grades and to obtain a required APS for university exceptions. This will also motivate them to improve their academics and see potential in themselves. The following will be the introduction of the lesson plan. What is the actual activity or task that your learners will do during the introduction? Learners are required to create own posters regarding their personal career paths that they want to fulfill and choose which financial assistance will they use. Learners will work in groups of 4 and will be assessed using a rubric. The learners should be able to fill in the forms of different financial assistance given to them apply to their acquired knowledge. Learners are required to argue and evaluate the different financial options given to them. Learners should be able to paraphrase or avoid plagiarism in other ways. Their own knowledge regarding different options for financial and create their own financial aid and state that will they offer differently and set their own requirements. At the end of the lesson, the learners are required to create their own financial assistance and offers for further studies. Which resources will be used during the introduction? There will be first an introduction of a definition of career and career paths, whereby learners will incorporate and bring their prior knowledge on careers and how do they define in their own words what career is and career paths. There will be a textbook used for references in the introduction, and also a poster will be used. And then the teaching activities, learning activities, assessment and resources will then be The teaching identifying the moments. Therefore, the teacher will be using a direct teaching strategies of team teaching and indirect teaching strategy of oral presentation and a cooperative teaching strategy of team presentations. This will assist the teacher to reach the lesson introductory phase, lesson aims and objectives. The learners are required to create a poster regarding different financial assistance and form groups whereby they will be doing oral presentations. Again, learners are also required to create their own funding aid whereby they become innovative by offering different information to what they have been already taught. Which language skills will be developed with these tasks? Speaking, writing, and reading skills will be developed. Is SWRL. That is the acronym of speaking, writing, and skills or reading skills. The assessment that will be used, or who will assess, and with which tool will be assessed with. The learners will be assessed by a teacher in a formative assessment by or with a rubric. The resources in this case will be magazines, posters, and a textbook. This is the teacher's role. The teacher will be using direct teaching strategy of corporate feedback, an indirect teaching strategy of surveys, and an independent teaching strategy of worksheets. The teacher will be assisted to convey the lesson to the learners with this different teaching method. The following is a learner's role. Learners are expected to fill in the forms given to them regarding different options for financial assistance and be able to reflect on them. Again, there will be skills that are required, or language skills rather, which are writing and reading skills. Therefore, the assessment will be peer-to-peer assessment and in a summative method and surveys forms. The resources will be survey magazines in this case, the teacher's role in the formative assessment will be that the teacher will use direct team teaching strategy, indirect oral presentation strategy, an independent strategy of giving learners homework. This will assist the teacher to facilitate cooperative learning and peer-to-peer learning. The learners will then be expected to argue and discuss different options for financial options. They are also expected to evaluate them on which one will be best suitable for them and how can they change the funding plan to make it better and offer better options. The language skills that will need to be developed with this task will be speaking and language skills. The assessment will be peer-to-peer in a diagnostic assessment and surveys. Textbooks, video in this case, and magazines will be used to incorporate other resources. I included a video which will require a projector. Therefore, the teacher's role in the last phase or conclusion phase will be that the teacher will use direct corrective feedback strategy, indirect surveys, independent worksheets, and incorporate them a cooperative team presentation strategy. This will assist the teacher in making sure that learning occurs, and both the teacher and learner are involved by using this strategy. The learner's role will be learners are required to argue and evaluate the different financial options given to them. The language skills need to be acquired will be speaking and language or vocabulary improvement. Teacher-learner assessment in a diagnostic manner, and the checklist will be used for assessment. Textbooks, magazines, and video clips are the resources in this case. Following is the SMART task, before the SMART task will be the assessment of the SMART task, which include the performance indicators, score scales, and indicators of performance. The marks will be from 1 to 10, which includes exemplary, good, acceptable, and unacceptable, which means that the learners will be weighed according to their performances. If the information is not enough, learners will record a low mark, and the content, if the content was most clear or most unclear, the range will be from 10 to 13 marks. And if the content was essentially accurate, the range will be from 14 to 17 marks. If the content was always accurate, then the marks will range from 18 to 20. And the writing or expression is not logical or organized. The learner will therefore get a low mark from 1 to 2. An acceptable indicator will be that, in general, the answers are arranged logically, although occasionally ideas fail to make sense. The learner will obtain a range of 3 to 5 marks. If the answers are arranged logically to support the central purpose of activity, then the learner will range from 6 to 8. And then this is an exemplary part, whereby if the ideas or answers are arranged logically to support the question, the reader can follow the line of reasoning. Then the learner will get 9 to 10 marks. In a SMART task, I had to formulate, and I formulated my own content and language SMART task. I'm a bit cold, I'm sorry. Content SMART task. Learners must demonstrate knowledge and skills by completing surveys on their own. Knowledge. Learners will have acquired information regarding options for financial assistance for further studies, which will assist them to use it in a meaningful to their lives. Learners must be able to create their own financial aid by applying all the admissions and academic requirements. Skills. Learners will have abilities and capabilities to apply for different options for financial assistance to further their studies. Learners must be able to evaluate different personal expectations in relation to a job or career of interest. This will give learners a different perspective towards life and furthering their studies. This will bring or change their mindset based on studying further, and it will enlighten them to pursue every chance and opportunity because they will be enlightened on the financial assistance. Remember that the financial assistance is based on maintaining themselves, basically, because they have to live a sustainable life. This will also motivate learners to work very hard in obtaining good grades to get different financial assistance. Learners will know that if you work hard, you can be anything you desire to be with the help of financial. For instance, a learner can pursue a career looking at the statistics that the career offers in terms of financial intelligence, of financial stability, whereby if a country needs more doctors, therefore many learners will have to opt for that course because a country needs doctors. And not only the country needs doctors, but then they have good money to pay for doctors. And considering the fact that learners have to follow what they love and their passion, therefore, after a learner has pursued a medicine degree to become a doctor, then they can become whatever they want to be. Because now they have already fulfilled the gap of financial problems. Therefore, they can now pursue whatever they want to pursue. Let's say, for instance, maybe that learner wanted to be a psychologist, and then the country doesn't need psychologists, and they don't pay much money for psychologists because we have more psychologists. Then the learner will then become a psychologist after being a doctor, just to pursue that passion and fulfill their expectations or desires. Yes. Learners must differentiate different financial assistance for different career options. Language smart task. Learners must be proficient with the language-specific subject as in the concepts of the subject. They must apply their knowledge or their language skills and be able to communicate during class discussions and sharing information. In the language smart task, it means that learners have to use specific words for life orientation, such as career choices and paths, and life skills, words that they come across in LO, such as bullying, violence, and self-esteem, and following the language the language task of a specific subject, which is LO. Learners must understand the roots of the words that are used in the subject and the context of the subject. The definitions of the words must be understood as well as where to use the words. One of my strategies is that learners should make use of a word bank whereby they write words that they come across or words that are difficult for them to understand, then make a learner-friendly definition and a a theological definition. Learners have to work hand in hand with the teacher, and the teacher must be the guide on the side to make sure that learners fully know and understand the language specificity, grammar, spelling, preposition of the language used in the subjects. Which resources will the learners need in order to complete these tasks? The learners will perhaps need textbooks, magazines, posters, charts, chalkboard to write on, and the poster must be creative and colorful. They also have to incorporate the usage of video clips. Thank you.